Guys, I got another one, man. Let's get into it. So last night, the Lakers faced off against the Dallas Mavericks at the Dallas Mavericks Arena. And of course, this is Luka Doncic's revenge game. It was a lot of emotions thrown around. He did shed a lot of tears when he saw his video. Of course, we know this was a trade that Luka Doncic himself did not want. Unlike a lot of other NBA superstars, he, according to reports, never requested a trade. So it leads people to wonder, why exactly did the Mavericks trade Luka to begin with? Because still to this day, it makes absolutely no sense. I did catch this segment by Jason Whitlock and Scap Attack. Shout out to both of them. I'm going to let them talk about it. They shed a few details that I found really interesting. So I'm going to let them talk about it and I'm going to chime in.
Jay, Luka Doncic took on the Dallas Mavericks last night and destroyed them. This has sparked something in Jay Williams, the ESPN broadcaster, former Duke star, NBA player that had his career damaged by injury. Here is Jay Williams on Twitter, I believe, yesterday. Dallas didn't trade Luka. They straight up committed basketball treason. Gifted him to LeBron like a donation. Now he's back, dropping 45, 8, and 6, getting MVP chance in their own building. That's not just self-sabotage. That's a generational implosion.
I want to know what you guys think in the comment section, first of all, about this. Did the Mavericks commit basketball treason when they decided to randomly trade Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers? Let me know what you think in the comment section first.
Scap, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Jason. Always a pleasure to be here. And shout out to Jay Williams. It must be a Jay thing because I've actually shockingly been seeing eye to eye with Jay Williams for the last week now or so. He's been making a lot of damn sense over there at the ESPN mothership. If he's not careful, he's going to find himself out of a job swiftly because he's making so much sense. And that network doesn't like to hear those kinds of things. But
I will say he's absolutely right about that when it comes to ESPN, man. We all know they full of shit over there. That's the LeBron network, ran by Clutch Sports itself. You get me? And there's nothing but pawns and pea-brain buffoons who talk all day long about nothing but narratives that make no sense unless they, of course, benefit LeBron James.
I mean, this was a disgraceful move 2 months ago, the move that shocked the basketball world when the Dallas Mavericks, Nico Harrison, their general manager over there, ownership, for whatever reason, lost their minds and traded an absolute generational star in Luka Doncic, who, Jason, at the time was only 25. He's now 26 years old. He has been dealing with injuries this season, and there's been much made of his shape and conditioning throughout his first 5 years in Dallas. But, I mean, he's typically playing 60 in the mid-60s to low 70s in terms of games played throughout the course of his career until this season, where he's going to hit around 50 games. And he's been first team.
I want to say, me personally, dude, you got to look at it like this. Back in the old days, everybody played 82 or beyond 82, plus the playoffs, you get me? These players barely can get up to play 45 to 50 games. And honestly, if it wasn't for Adam Silver putting that 65-game limit, these players would still be faking injuries and playing 50 games. Can I ask you guys a question? LeBron James and Anthony Davis, I think for the couple of years after the championship, 50 games here, 54 games, 55 games. I know two or three of those seasons were like shortened by like 10 games or so. And then all of a sudden, this rule gets put into place by Adam Silver where you don't make any All-NBA selections or All-Star selections, basically, if you're not playing 65 games or more. You can't even be put in the MVP conversation. Now, all of a sudden, 90% of superstars can play 65 games. Don't y'all find that interesting? I find it really, to be honest with you, messed up because it shows that they purposely went out their way. None of this has to do with load managing. Nobody needs to load manage for 40 games, guys. And honestly, the studies show and have been showing that nobody wins a championship that plays less than 65 games. It's only, and I'm talking about superstars. There's never really been a superstar to win a championship that play less than 65 games. The least has been Steph Curry and Kawhi, who both play like 62. But on average, they play 70 games or more. You get me? In order to win for a championship, because you need that type of rhythm, that type of camaraderie, and you need to build your team up in order to be able to win a championship. So for me personally, you guys know I look into stuff like that. If you're trying to play 45 games, or if your best player, if Luka plays 45 games and he's on your team for an entire season, you're not winning a championship. There's no load to manage because he'll be out in the first round. He did not build the cardio or the rhythm or the strength needed to endure making the playoffs and winning 16 games in the playoffs and holding up that Larry O'Brien trophy. It's never been done before, like I said. So good for on Adam Silver for putting that there, but to be honest with you, it's kind of the bare minimum. And it's kind of sad too when you really think about it that this NBA, these players are so lazy and don't want to do their job to the point where they have to put restrictions on in order to get them to do their job. And why? Why do they rush to do it now? Why all of a sudden can they play 65 games? Well, it's quite obvious that when you look for that max extension, if you're not on any All-NBA teams, you're not getting that $300 million. Even if they wanted to max you out, you'd lose about $100 million or so. If you spent the last 2 to 3 seasons and you didn't make the All-Star game, you didn't make All-NBA first, second, or third team, oh yeah, your contract is going to be very small. So why are they getting up now? It's for only one reason. It's not for the fans. It's not because they care about their sport. It's not because they have respect for the game. They're only getting up for one reason, and that's money. That's all these players care about now. None of them care about legacy. They don't care about leaving their name imprinted in the GOAT debate. They only care about money. The very few that do care, like you might be able to say the Boston Celtics, you feel me? Most of these teams are filled with young players, definitely not in the LeBron James era. Oh, and let me not forget Steph Curry, because we know he cares.
Team All-NBA every year of his career, Jason, until this season, after his rookie season. So basically his rookie season, and then this season, which has been derailed by injuries. Other than that, 5 first-team All-NBA selections for this guy. To say he's generational is actually underselling it. He's 4th all-time in career box plus minus right now. He has the 3rd highest career scoring average behind only Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain. He's 2nd in playoff scoring points per game behind only Michael Jordan. Here's a little trivia question for you and your audience, Jason. The only 2 players ever to score at least 30 points per game in their playoff careers, that would be Michael Jordan and Luka Doncic. And they trade that guy for Anthony Davis and 1 first-round draft pick, essentially. Pathetic, disgraceful. Jay Williams, I mean, that's a good terminology. I think I used it in a video I published last night, like 3 a.m. Treason. Basketball treason. And the Dallas Mavericks, as a result, well, they're in the 10 seed. They're probably heading into the play-in and an elimination in that first game. The Lakers, meanwhile, Jason, have gone from a perennial play-in contender themselves to maybe arguably the best team in the Western Conference, all because of Luka Doncic.
That's ridiculous. You're putting too much on it. They're not the best team in the Western Conference. But I will say this. It honestly makes no sense still to this day why the fuck the Mavericks traded him. This clearly, Anthony Davis is 32. So this isn't a trade for the long haul. You didn't trade this so you can get assets for the future. You didn't trade Luka so that you could win now because everybody's hurt. And why would you take a gamble like that on 2 people who are constantly injured throughout their career, like Kyrie Irving in Anthony Davis. I've been on the record in previous videos letting you guys know that none of this shit makes any sense. And in my opinion, when I look at exactly what's going on with this trade, there's some conspiracy theory level, and I'm only using that word because y'all know what I mean when I say it, going on when it comes to what happened with this trade. Was it LeBron? It could be. Was it the Mavericks in their casino trying to get that casino going on in Dallas? Or was Nico just that stupid? Nico and the owner. I don't think Nico and the owner were just that stupid. I think it's something else at play here. And when I hear that Nico and know that Nico has had ties with not only Rob Pelinka but Kobe Bryant, and that he also has ties with Nike, which means that he has ties with LeBron, since LeBron has a lifetime contract with Nike. I think this dude was a Manchurian candidate. I look at him more like a patsy in this situation. But I am specifically making this video because I want to ask the Dallas Mavericks fans a question.
Thanks for nothing, Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks.
Hey, I had horrible experiences buying and selling my home, so we built real estate agents.
Dallas Mavericks, Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks. I think that's a tiny bit of an easy way out. And what's going to get Jay Williams in trouble is so passionately calling out like, hey, man, this is insanity. And I don't think, and again, the more he draws attention to it and how insane it is, I think it's less easy for people to accept like, oh, this is Nico Harrison. This has to be the league and wanting LeBron James to have a playoff run. And there are other people that believe that, again, the Dallas Mavericks are trying to leverage their way. The what's her name? Adelson. I can't think of her last name. Miriam Adelson, I think maybe. But trying to leverage their way into a casino and new arena. I think blaming Nico is an easy way out, and that's why people would prefer, and Jay Williams could get in trouble. If he keeps drawing attention to the insanity of this trade, people are going to put on their tinfoil hats like me and say, this ain't Nico. Anybody with a brain, my mother wouldn't have made this trade, let alone some guy that actually knows basketball.
Ding, 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 ding. You guys hear that? There's no way. So when you go to the arena, like watching that game last night, and everybody's screaming, fire Nico, and you're a Maverick fan, right? I want you to realize, why are you yelling at the patsy? Why are you claiming the job of the patsy? The fix was in before this trade even happened. If I would more likely believe that Nico begged them not to make this trade, and they said, if you don't do this, we're going to fire you and blackball you from the league. That makes more sense than him saying, Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic? Oh, yeah, perfect sense. I mean, Luka only took us to the finals last year, right? He only took us to the finals. Let's trade him, right? Alienate our fan base for no reason, right? And get one draft pick in return for it. Makes no sense. I think Nico Harrison is a proverbial Lee Harvey Oswald in this situation. Set up to take all of the blame and be scolded by Mavs fans for decades. And to be honest with you, till this day, unless we find out something else that's credible, you have to believe that Clutch Sports has something to do with it. Colin Cowherd has already came out and said LeBron orchestrated this trade. Marcus Morris already came out, said that his brother knew he was getting traded before it happened, and said that LeBron knew. So LeBron has something to do with this trade. And maybe Adam Silver did. I think every day we find out a little bit more information. Maybe if the Mavs don't make the playoffs, they'll get the number 1 draft pick and they'll get Cooper Kupp as compensation. Because one thing I can say, and we can say, is that LeBron James and the NBA has always manipulated that number 1 draft pick in order to benefit LeBron. Remember who got the number 1 draft pick when Anthony Davis was supposed to go to the Lakers? The Pelicans out of nowhere got it when they had like the 10th best odds of getting it, right? Who got the draft pick when LeBron went back to Cleveland? You guys remember that? Who got the number 1 draft pick, which turned out to be Andrew Wiggins? Oh, the Cavs out the blue. Who got the number 1 draft pick when LeBron left the Cavs? Oh, the Cavs. You guys remember that? They've always manipulated the draft in order to benefit LeBron. The draft, in my opinion, has always been rigged. How else can you explain? And I know this is diving in conspiracy land, but how the fuck else can you explain Victor Wembanyama being a Spur? The Frenchman, right? And the team that loves France. And the fact that Greg Popovich never tanks. He says, I'm going to tank this year. Out of the blue, I'm going to tank this year. And all of a sudden, he immediately wins the number 1 draft pick. And I want you guys to also keep in mind that Greg Popovich's roots span very deep within the NBA. A lot of owners, a lot of general managers, look at the Brooklyn Nets, for example. They are all under the Popovich tree. Look at Steve Kerr, so on and so forth. These guys are under the Popovich tree. The NBA basically works for Pop in a way or so. So did Adrian Wojnarowski, because he used to always misrepresent reports in order to benefit the PR machine for Greg Popovich. I'm going to leave this video here, and I'm going to do a part 2, so stay tuned.